And welcome everyone to another weather video. Today I want to talk to you about low pressure systems, in particular ones that develop in Canada, ones that you may know as clipper systems. But did you know that depending on where it forms in Canada, it has a different name? Some may know, some may not. And I'm talking about the all famous Alberta Clipper. Yes, clipper system. Usually responsible for a trace to 3 inches of snow here in northern Michigan, and it moves through very quickly. And in fact, in a matter of hours. But it does result in some cooler air behind it, and possibly a little bit of lake effect. But did you know that there are two other names besides Alberta Clipper, depending on where and which province this low pressure system forms in? That's right. And it's relatively hilarious, but they are true meteorological terms. I'll never forget the first time I heard it. I was like, what? And to be honest with you, the first time I used it, people were like, what? It's funny because it's true. So if a low pressure system develops in Alberta, drops into the United States, it's an Alberta Clipper. If a low pressure system develops in Saskatchewan and drops into the United States, it's called a Saskatchewan Screamer. Sasky Screamer. Because it's screaming, it's fast. If it develops in Manitoba and drops into the United States, it's called a Manitoba Mauler. I don't know where the Mauler comes from for fast, but those are the names and the terms for where a low pressure system develops in Canada and drops in the United States. Now, the most common term you hear, regardless of where it develops in Canada, is called a clipper system, because the term comes from a sailboat. Clipper moves quickly, and that is just what has always stuck. But there's three other provinces and, well, three other terms that you can call them: an Alberta Clipper, a Sasky Screamer, or a Manitoba Mauler. Pretty wild. So how these develop is, one, it's a pretty moisture-starved low pressure system, but they develop on the east coast, or east side, I should say, of the Rocky Mountains. A little bit of that Pacific moisture gets into that system and it develops, and then it jumps into the jet stream, which takes it right down towards the Great Lakes or East Coast. Hence why it's moving so quickly, and hence why we don't see a whole lot of moisture with it. But behind these low pressure systems, we tend to get colder air, which will lead to a little bit of lake effect and stints of colder air. We usually see those with La Nina patterns. Now, the other type of low pressure systems that impact us here in the Great Lakes are Colorado lows, but they work a little bit differently. We tend to see more moisture out of them, tend to see them be a bit stronger, and what they do is they develop, again, on the east side of the Rockies, and then grab the moisture, rather than being moisture starved, from the Gulf of Mexico, and then move up northeast to the East Coast or Great Lakes. And depending on where you're at on that side of the low, you either get rain, then snow, but you also tend to get a lot of winds, and you also tend to get very wet, heavy snow out of that. But with Colorado lows, if you tend to see a lot of them, like 1 or 2 a week for transitional periods of time, like in November, October, November, and December, that will set up the colder air over Canada, which could lead to a very long, cold winter. But with a La Nina pattern, we tend to see more of the clippers, which gives us stints of brief cold and a little bit of moisture. Not a ton, because it's more of a moisture-starved system. It's just that light, fluffy snow. So there you go. Clippers, screamers, maulers. I don't know why. This is the third time I've shot this video, and every time I shoot it, it just makes me giggle. So hopefully it made you giggle here on this Wednesday morning. Have a great day, everybody.